Commission, thank you. We've certainly heard from, often, the members of the Commission. We express concerns as to the racing facilities, as to the racing patronage experience, as to the seating. So we have been working endlessly, tirelessly with our architecture team, our design and construction team, to try and come up with some plans for both of these facilities that at least attempt to honor the various requests that we've heard from different members of this commission, all within the constraints of the budget that we've established for both of these facilities in order to keep these projects on track.
And what is your budget?
$125 million.
And that's based upon what the MOU was with the governor that you all signed?
Together with the relocation expense of $75 million plus the license fee of $50 million, the MOU reflected a $250 million investment per facility. Yes.
Okay, but there's nothing in the MOU that precludes you from spending more than $125 million.
No, there's nothing that precludes us from spending more other than our budget constraints.
Mr. Chair. Yes, sir.
Yes, that includes the purchase of the VLT machines.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And what percentage is that of the total?
What percentage of the VLT machine purchase of the $125 million budget? It's about $20 million, so it ends up being about 13%, 14% of the total budget. So what we're looking at, and we've looked at this often enough now, I think you recognize this as the Mahoning Valley Facility Site Plan. The one modification that we have made in discussions with Mr. Basler on behalf of the HPPA, you see that barn area up in the upper right-hand corner. What we're proposing to open with is a 10-barn facility, and we'll get into the barns themselves. They each have 76 stalls, as well as the dormitory space, which you can see on the same location, which is down on the lower left of that barn area, that backside area, so that there is dormitory space that would be included in the opening plan pursuant to the rules and pursuant to the discussions that we've had with the HPPA leadership. Moving into the building, and obviously it's in the building where the concern has arisen.
Let's go back to the stalls here.
Sure.
We have the ones that are filled in are the ones that you're proposing, and there's an expansion for another
3 additional barns, that's correct.
At 76, what does that get you to?
988. Plus there's a ship-in barn.
Why aren't you building out, if you have these on, why aren't you building those out?
Budgetary reasons.
Budgetary reasons?
Yes, sir. We don't have the capital in our budget to build them at open.
And who makes the decision as to how much capital you're going to expend?
Our board of directors.
Board of directors?
Yes, sir. But what we wanted to show was that we
it's interesting that other folks that have come here, I really haven't heard the $125 million number at the bottom. Some folks say they're going to spend $150, some folks are going to say they're going to spend $200 million. Just a point of interest.
No, I understand your point, but
so this is the lowest budget that we've heard. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we heard anybody wrong? You're just going to spend $125 million?
Mr. Chairman, we don't look at it that way. I mean, we've made a commitment to the state, if we proceed with these relocations, beyond the 50-mile radius, to pay, in addition to the $50 million license fee, a $75 million relocation fee, so that our budget for each of these projects
Which you agreed to.
Excuse me?
You've agreed to the $75 million.
If we move, yes.
And that's what's provided in the law.
Yes, if we move.
Okay.
That's correct.
So are you contemplating that you will not move?
We are contemplating if we can't make these budgets work, we will not move. That's correct.
So you're going to directly compete in Toledo and Columbus with your Penn Gaming casino facilities.
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
That is an option that we are considering.
Is that a good business decision?
Is that a good business decision for Penn National?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To be competing against yourself.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not a good business decision for racing in Ohio. It's not a good business decision for the state of Ohio.
Let me ask you this.
It's our own alternative.
If you were to decide to do that, how much money would you spend renovating Beulah Park? Are you going to tear it down and start from the beginning?
No, sir.
Oh, I think you might have to.
required to spend $88 million to get open, right? As a phase one opening,
No,
85 or 88?
No, there's nothing that talks about that. Because
I understand. Over 4 years, when we get open, we have to spend 85.
no, you don't. You do not.
We have to have a plan to spend.
No, you have to have the minimum of the $125 million over a 3-year period.
3 or 4 years, that's
Yeah,
correct.
right.
But not to get
So
open,
it's not $88 million.
to get open.
Well, let me tell you this, if you were, in my humble opinion, that I think if you were to go to Beulah Park, it should be demolished if you're going to build a VLT facility. And I think you'd have to do the same thing in Toledo. So,
Again, Mr. Chairman.
to compete against yourself.
This is a point that we've been trying to make, that this commission appears to be picking winners and losers, because you've approved the plans.
Would you expand on that, sir?
Yes, sir. You've approved the plans for Thistle Downs. You've approved the plans for Scioto Downs, none of which entail the demolition of their existing facilities. So all we're trying to understand is, what are the standards that this commission is applying unilaterally to every member of this industry in the state of Ohio?
It's pretty obvious when you sign the MOU. The MOU tells you what the minimum amount is.
Understood.
Okay? So how are you going to rehab Beulah Park without tearing it down and building a facility?
The prior owner of Beulah Park had a plan to build a VLT facility across the racetrack. That plan makes some sense, there's logic to it, it can be done within the budget parameters that you've identified, and it's already been tested.
Tested by whom?
By the prior owner.
Mr. Ruma?
Yes, sir.
All right. So much for me. Go ahead.